Today I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about tester fragrance bottles, including should you be buying them, is there a difference in scent profile, where to buy them, what are the differences, what do they look like, etc. What even are they? Are they fake? To some people this may be basic, but to others this may be new information. I think it's my duty to give an answer to this question because I actually get this question a lot. I'm going to be making a lot of videos dedicated towards beginners of the hobby, and hopefully this helps you because as a fragrance creator, I think it's my responsibility to help. And because of that, I'm going to make a playlist that is dedicated to people that are beginning the hobby of collecting or sampling or smelling fragrances. And I'm going to call that playlist Fragrance Fundamentals, a Beginner's Guide. On there, you will be able to find everything that you possibly may need to know when you're entering this hobby, or maybe answers to questions you may have but didn't know. So I'm going to start with what are testers? What are fragrance tester bottles? So basically, when you go into a retail shop and you see that they have a bunch of fragrances on display that you can test, these are tester bottles. They look exactly the same, and you wouldn't really think that there's any difference when you look at them in store, but there are some slight differences, and I'm going to discuss that in this video. So before I dive into what fragrance testers look like, let me describe to you why you're able to buy them. When brands send out fragrances in general, they have a bunch of reps, and these reps are supposed to make sure that these fragrances get to the retail shops and that they're able to distribute them accordingly. But what actually happens is some of these distributors sell them for production costs, and basically that ends up being a lot less than they're trying to retail price them for, and they're able to sell them to fragrance discounters, discount shops, and those discount shops are able to basically sell these tester bottles for not only less than retail price, but also less than you're able to buy a actual full bottle of their fragrance for, because they are testers, they are cheaper, and they are cheaper because retail shops want to buy them so that their clients or people that may be wanting to buy it can test it before buying. So that's why they sell them. And you're able to buy these fragrances from the fragrance discounters for a very, very reduced cost. I will dive into that a little bit later on where you should buy them. But what do they look like? How do you know they're a tester? Well, let's start off with a presentation of what the bottles look like. I'm going to show you a couple different examples of what the bottles look like, and I'll also show you the difference in boxes. So one difference in some testers is that some testers come without a cap. So they basically just look like this. If you don't care about a cap, that kind of stuff will not matter to you. Personally, for me as a reviewer, I want the full presentation. So because of that, I buy it with a cap. The reason I'm showing you this is because Missoni Wave actually does come without the cap, so keep that in mind. Another example would be Carolina Herrera Bad Boy. If you are to buy them as a tester, you would think that there's no indication of this being a tester bottle, right? But if you look at the bottom right here, it just says tester. That is literally the only difference between this and a normal bottle of Carolina Herrera Bad Boy Le Parfum. Another example, Terre de Hermes Eau de Toilette. There's literally zero indication on here that this is a tester bottle. Now, between these two fragrances, something that's great is if you know that your fragrance that you're buying has a built-in atomizer, like this one. This one doesn't even come with a cap. It's just a twist-on, twist-off cover. You would literally have no clue. Another example is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. You would think that this is a normal bottle, but when you look on the bottom, you can see here it does say tester not for sale. That is literally the only difference in presentation of the bottle. Now, I will show you something which can be a little bit annoying at times because it does ruin the aesthetic of your bottle on your shelf a little bit if you're gonna be showing people these fragrances. For example, I bought a Parfums de Marly fragrance, Leighton exclusive, except this is a tester bottle. Now, what is the difference, you may be asking? Well, it's something that will drive a lot of people's OCD crazy because from the front, it looks perfect, but on the back, you get a sticker which tells you the notes of the fragrance and also tells you that it is a tester. When I remove this finger, now you see there is a laser engraving on the bottom of this bottle that says tester not for sale. This really drives my OCD crazy because I also have another Parfums de Marly fragrance, Pegasus, and when you look on the back, they do have that sticker that does say the notes, but there's no indication here that's engraved into the bottle that says it's a tester for sale. I'm not sure why they do that here, but just know that sometimes it will be engraved in the actual glass or the material of the bottle to tell you that it's a tester. Another example of that would be any 1 million fragrance by Paco Rabanne. This is laser engraved on the back of the bottle. This isn't as triggering to my OCD as with the Parfums de Marly fragrances because they're a lot more expensive, and I mean, it just looks bad. Having something laser engraved that says not for sale on your fragrance when you're trying to show your friends looks like you stole the thing, but that's just what the bottle looks like. But what are the differences in boxes? Well, let me start off by showing you how a brand may market their products. Let's start with Parfums de Marly, since they are a niche fragrance, but you can also pick up testers. This is a full bottle of Parfums de Marly Greenly. I bought this at a very expensive price. A lot more expensive than the tester bottle of Parfums de Marly Pegasus, which came as a tester. As you can see, there is no indication of the brand really on here. It's a blank white box with no details on there at all, and their logo is missing. Right? That's basically the only difference in box. Now I'm going to show you a couple different examples so you can kind of see the differences here. When I bought 1 Million Parfum as a tester, it came like this with a Ziploc bag around it. It literally just came in this. There's no indication of what the fragrance is on the box. But when I bought something from the same brand, 1 Million Elixir, it came in this box, which is a tester box, right? It doesn't have the graphics. They didn't really pay any money for the presentation of their tester box. They just wanted to sell it at as cheap of a cost as possible. So this is an actual box of a 1 million fragrance, right? So you can see in the difference, they just spent less on the production cost of the box so that they can cut corners when they can to sell this as cheap as possible, right? That's the box and the bottle in detail. That's the only differences you're getting in presentation. With that being said, you're probably also wondering, are these fragrances legit? Are they real? If you've bought from the correct places, all of these fragrance testers are legit. They're exactly the same. They're sent from the same house as the original fragrances, but they're just in tester bottles. Another thing you may be wondering, is there a difference in scent profile between the testers and the non-testers? So this is kind of an argument in the fragrance community, because there is also a rumor that's being kind of spread around that the tester bottles are actually stronger than the normal bottles, because for most people, this is your first impression into the fragrance. They want to make it as strong as possible and captivate those top notes to make you buy the product. That's kind of just a rumor. Most of these tester bottles come from the exact same batches as some retail products. The only difference in scent profile that you might be smelling is if the tester bottle is older than what you actually purchased. In terms of scent profile, they probably smell exactly the same. It's pretty much the same batch that they even use to create testers versus non-testers. So far, you're getting at this point. They are exactly the same. The only difference is cosmetic, and that's why they're so amazing. But why would I buy a tester? Well, first of all, they're cheaper. They're actually a lot cheaper in some circumstances. Where can you buy them? Well, I buy my fragrance testers from places like Fragrance Buy, Perfume Online, Fragrance Net, Joma Shop, and sometimes I'll just walk into a retail store and just be like, hey, can I buy that from you? You didn't hear that from me. If you actually want to reliably buy some, in my description in my link tree will 100% take you to authentic sources for buying fragrances for cheaper. So I will show you some examples of different prices that you can buy testers for. I'm going to use the example of scrolling on Fragrance Buy, because that's where I buy 99% of my fragrances, because there's one cool feature in there that I love, that they tell you if the tester comes without a cap or with a cap. The first example would be Mont Blanc Legend Spirit for Men. You get the 100 milliliter box for $49.95, and then you can go to the tester, which is $45. So that's a savings of about $4.95. Another example would be Paco Rabanne's 1 million. Okay, so this is actually a very, very good example of the difference in price, because I'm pretty sure if this wasn't a tester, you can buy Paco Rabanne's 1 million in a 100 milliliter bottle for around the same price. This one is a jumbo 200 milliliter bottle, and it's just a tester bottle, but it's $109. So the actual 100 ml is probably around the same price. So you're getting double the amount of fragrance. That's insane price value. Let's go over here. Carolina Herrera Bad Boy, which I know doesn't matter if it comes with a cap or not, because as you can see, the cap is actually built into the bottle. So the 100 ml, $97.43. And then if you go to the 100 ml tester, $93 Canadian, right? Now we're gonna get into an even bigger example of why you should be buying testers. That's with niche fragrances. This is Acqua di Parma. This is a niche fragrance, right? So for the 100 ml boxed bottle, it's $105 Canadian. That's already insanely discounted off of the retail price. If I click on here and I go to the tester, which you can see, it does mention that it comes with cap. Boom, $89 instead of $105. The only difference is going to be the fact that it may say tester on the box, or some small indicator on there that it is a tester bottle. It's exactly the same fragrance, and you're saving a lot of money. In the end, if you actually buy from these discounters, if you're buying testers majority of the time, you can save hundreds, if not thousands, when you buy tester fragrances the majority of the time. To cover everything, what are the cons of buying testers? First of all, it's purely cosmetic. If if you genuinely do not care about your fragrance bottle being marked as a tester, possibly coming without a cap, you're getting the exact same fragrance. A second con that I could mention, because majority of people that are collecting fragrances know about this tester hack, they're trying to get that first. So testers are most likely to be sold out the majority of time and may sell out a lot quicker than the normal bottles. So be wary of that. If you have any other question that I did not cover, make sure to leave that in the comments below. Any questions you may have as a beginner, advanced, intermediate in the fragrance collecting hobby, leave those in the comments below and I will make sure to answer them in an upcoming video. I hope this video was able to help you. If it did, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to this channel because I make a lot of beginner-friendly fragrance content that you can benefit a lot from. So thanks very much for watching and I will see you in the next video.